Consistency. How do you stay consistent? Now, if you check to my channel right now, just to make sure you know I'm credible, because that's important when you're watching a YouTube video, I have posted every single day for the last 3 months, I believe 2 or 3 months. And I've done that, and I've posted pretty quality stuff, to be honest. And I have showed up for all of my workouts that I said I was going to work out. I've never skipped a workout in my whole life because I've understood these 3 things. This one came a bit later actually in my life, but once I understood this, I was able to get consistent in things that weren't just the gym. And so, we're going to talk about how do you actually get consistent. The first thing you need to actually understand is that motivation and testosterone are intertwined. Testosterone makes hard work feel fun. That is motivation. And if we have the motivation to actually increase our ambitions, to actually go after it in our lives, that comes from the testosterone, because whether you like it or not, testosterone exists for competition, biologically exists for competition, I may add. And your testosterone gets upregulated when you need to become a better version of yourself, because maybe let's say you're not competing with other people, even though it's healthy to compete with other people if it is like in a loving way, like not saying like I'm gonna step on you, I don't want you to actually succeed. The healthy way to actually compete is for all of you to compete together to all get better at the same time. So it's important to understand motivation and testosterone. Your testosterone, because you're not being super healthy right now, your testosterone, even when you are healthy by the way, gets upregulated really randomly. It's just so random. You just get randomly high levels of testosterone, and then that causes you to have more motivation than normal, and you're like, okay, I'm going to get everything set up, I'm going to do so good, I'm going to get after in life, I'm going to change everything. But the thing is, what happens? Then you end up losing the motivation the next day, because you're like, oh, okay, well, actually, I'm not really motivated anymore, so I'm so sad, I'm a bitch. You end up being like that because your testosterone has been down-regulated. So when you have the motivation, act now. Action. You need to act now once you have the motivation, because you need to understand that motivation is fickle. It is based off of emotion. Our testosterone influences our emotions, and it makes us so that we have less motivation. So motivation comes from testosterone. That is foundational. We need to understand that our testosterone has been upregulated, and because our body needs to maintain balance, it goes down. And because our body needs to maintain homeostasis, which means balance, it needs to get down-regulated to even lower than baseline even, and then it ends up going back to normal than baseline. So what we want to do right now is we want to take action immediately. And okay, what can we take action on if we want to be consistent over a long period of time? We need to create systems. I always say this. We do not rise to our ambitions, to our goals. We fall to the level of the sophistication of our systems. If we set up a system that we don't need to think to actually execute, and we don't actually need to apply as much motivation, but it's mostly just discipline, and discipline is a different aspect. If we just take our foot one after the other, and we stop thinking as if like, I don't need to do the whole task right now. I don't need to record 7 videos right now. I only need to record 1. I only need a script right now. I can just get out of bed, go downstairs, put on my shoes, and leave to go do my workout. You don't need to do the full workout right now. You just need to take the next step. And so that's part of it, is creating systems, saying the days you're going to do it, saying how much you're going to do, and then just taking the next step every single time. And this can only be done through self-perception. You need to perceive yourself as being the kind of person that, yeah, I am high testosterone. I will have the motivation because I create the motivation. I have a higher level of ambition than most people, and so because of this, I will be able to get the things that I want to get done. And that means that I am a consistent man because I work for it. I am consistent because I make systems, because I don't rely on motivation, because I know that it is fickle, because I know that testosterone modulates your motivation, and if my testosterone goes super high, if I feel randomly motivated one day, then I'm going to feel less motivated the next day. Because motivation doesn't just come from testosterone, it also comes from dopamine. And so if we're feeling hyper motivated, if we're feeling that, oh yeah, I'm going to attack life, I'm going to do it, then our dopamine also gets, our dopamine neurotransmitters that are responsible for the happiness of pursuit, they get activated, and if you have way too much of that, then your body is not going to be as sensitive to it. And all of these things together, you must expect that motivation will run dry. That motivation is not going to be the thing that gets you to your goal. You need to use the motivation right now. Action, action, action. To create the system for you to actually have action and turn your brain off so you don't have to rely on your brain. Because often, my guy, often you can't trust your brain. Especially when staying consistent. You say, oh, okay, but the comfort feels so good. Comfort is the killer of man. Sometimes we cannot trust our brain because our brain is designed to keep us safe, to keep us comfortable. That is what our entire body is trying to do. But there's also other parts of our body that are designed for competition, like testosterone, that will influence our motivation so that we can take the action, get the systems, and all of this together. What you really need, stop trying to be consistent and try to make evidence. And if you make more evidence for yourself of the man that you want to become, what will end up happening is that you have more evidence to fuel your self-perception. You can say, oh yeah, I'm a disciplined guy because I've never skipped a workout. Yeah, I'm a disciplined guy. I'm a consistent guy because I've done all the things that I said I was going to do. Once you can do that, once you can actually do it enough that you get the results, that is when you actually become a new man. It's like I can say I was so consistent, I got 325 bench press. I was so consistent on my diet that I was bulking and I still have visible abs. I can say all these things and it fuels my self-perception for me to know, yeah, I am a disciplined person that does not rely on motivation, because motivation is nothing about what I rely on. Sure, it's a nice treat, but it is not a part of me. Then I can say, yeah, I use the motivation that I do have and I use the discipline at the same time to create the systems for me to actually do these things, because I make promises and myself keeping these promises cause me to fuel my self-perception of me being a disciplined, high consistent man. All these things together, if you want to join my system, link in description for you to actually be able to become, the super soldier status, get 325 bench, 405 squat. If you want to actually be surrounded in a community of people who are in this same shoes that you are in, that are trying to get consistent, people who have gotten consistent, people who literally will give you advice on how to be consistent, literally better advice than this, even though I'm pretty damn good. Then check the link in the description. You can check it out. There's like a free trial. And yeah, like the video, bro.